Hey, good evening, gents, buds, lads, fathers, and dads. Welcome to the zone. Welcome to FC. This is Fatherhood Confessions, and I'm Trent, coming at you strong. Listen, there's nothing greater than sitting down and relaxing and chilling out. Come on, gents. You know what I'm talking about. It's Friday night. It's time to feature in on tonight's Friday Focus. But before we do, come on, I don't care what it is. Grab yourself a drink and let yourself listen to the beautiful sound of a can of cold beverage opening. Oh, come on. Cheers to you guys out there. My heroes, all the fathers in the house. Awesome. Anyway, drop it in the comments below. Let me know where you're viewing from, whether it's now or if you view the stream later. That's fantastic. So this channel, of course, brought to you by myself, Trent. And this channel exists for one purpose. And that purpose is to help fathers, dads. Hey, we'll even throw in the ladies too. Why not? We're here to help you, dads, to navigate parenting through honest and candid conversation. That's the deal, and content is the meal. So we're going to get at it in just a few minutes. So if you don't know what we do here on Feature Friday, what we do is I usually take a video, whether it's an article, a book, a quote, a song, whatever it may be, some kind of source on the theme of dads and fatherhoods, and I take it and I analyze it carefully, critically, and try to take it and present it in a way that it's understandable for us fathers today. So I am excited because tonight's father that we're going to kind of peer into and look at is a guy by the name of Terry Crews. Yes, Terry Crews. He's a popular actor on Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and he's hilarious. You'll see him on Old Spice commercials. I mean, the guy is jacked. Fathers, you know, that's not the true definition of masculinity. It's not. Doesn't matter how much you argue. You could be buff and still not be enough. Man, what's going on with the rhymes tonight? Just digging it. Wicked. Nice. But Terry Crews never had, of course, the ideal upbringing. Fathers who parent with fear-mongering tactics, whether it's physically, mentally, instill in their kids a hardship in dealing with life. And Terry's story is very unique. It's not strange. It's definitely not something we've never heard before, but it's Terry's story. Terry is, like I said, Terry comes from a history in his own personal life of addiction, of other major issues that he, I guess, cultivated in his own life due to his own father and how his father was to him. And he had to find ways to get out of that. He had to find ways to break free, to change his mind, to change the way he thought, and of course live from who he is. He played the victim card, but now, as you will hear, he plays the victor card. He overcame. He's a renewed father, renewed husband, and man, he's just dealing and he's doing well. Terry, he supports. Let me just scoot over here for a quick second. He supports a charity called Safe Horizon, and what Safe Horizon is it's a charity organization that serves to assist and help mothers that are families that are products of abuse. So if you want to check that out, that's safehorizon.org. But we'll head back over here and we'll have a chat. I'm going to show you a video clip right now of Terry. And let's hear some of his story, and then we'll make comments. We're going to be here for 30 minutes. And what is it, 5 after now? We'll just make some comments, read some other stuff. If you have a question, drop it in the comments below. We'd love to get at you. And before we go any further, if you like this content, and this is down your alley, I'd encourage you to go ahead and like the video, subscribe, and give that bell a little click so you're notified when I come out with a new video and or when I go live, which is the case tonight. Well, having that said, let's focus on Terry's life. Terry's dad, and he's going to tell us kind of what he went through as a father and what he had to overcome when it came to the terror and fear that was instilled in him because of his dad's abusive behavior. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. Here we go.
My earliest memory is my father hitting my mother in the face as hard as he could. And I remember seeing her on the floor and then looking at him, this giant of a man who I thought, my God, he says he loves her. What is he gonna do to me? And all I could think, I want to protect her. I want to protect her. And how wrong it was. And I said, I gotta be strong. And I gotta get strength so that I can protect her. And every time he came home, we were scared. We didn't know. I literally wet the bed till I was 14 years old because I didn't know what was gonna happen. I would wake up to glass breaking, just sounds, people screaming, and it was a nightmare. We lived a nightmare for years. And I remember my mother coming into our room and saying, we're leaving. Pack our stuff, we're out of here. And we would grab everything we had and we put it in garbage bags. And we'd tie it up and we'd wait to go. And then she'd come back in and she'd say, we can't go. We can't leave. Where am I gonna go? And I just remember feeling like, let's go anywhere. I don't care. We could be at the street. But she couldn't do it. And he went on, terrorizing us forever. And it was like, what could we do? You have to understand that people in this situation feel entirely hopeless. Hopeless. We were hopeless. So many things, I thought, I'll never be like that. I'll never do that. But then I picked up a lot of other damaging things that come from that trauma. A lot of other things that had been assimilated into my life. Here I am, as a man, I felt like, hey, it's my way or the highway. I remember times with my daughter Azriel, and I would yell at her as if she was a 30-year-old man. I constantly apologize, constantly call them and say, I'm sorry. Daddy didn't get it. Daddy missed it. And that woke me up. It woke me up. It was this catalyst that changed my life forever. Because here I was, a very successful man. Very successful. But what you have to realize is that success is the warmest place to hide. It does not matter what you look like. It doesn't matter. Anyone, anywhere can be victimized. And no man, woman, or child should ever put up with being treated as less than a human being, ever. How did we get that far off? When people are looking the other way, when the whole thing is geared where you can't ask for help, or you are gonna lose your job. Or if you bring it up, how in the world are you gonna afford an attorney in order to fight this case? You need three things in order to come forward with a lot of your damage and the things that's happened to you. You need distance emotionally, you need distance financially, and you need distance physically. Coming out with your story is probably one of the hardest things ever. And this is one thing I love about what Safe Horizon provides. It's a safe haven, this place to go, the services that people need. And I'm telling you, this is my calling. This is more valuable. You know, I'm promoting the movies and TV shows and the whole thing, but I want to talk about this. I want to talk about this because it's fixable. See, understand, this is something that we can be deprogrammed. This is the deal. We have to speak up. You can see it, but you have to show people you are changing the world.
Fantastic video. Fantastic clip. He said quite a few things in there that rattled me. One of the things he said was success is a warm place to hide. I don't know the demographic. I don't know you who are listening to this. I don't know your background. I don't know the dynamic. I don't know your story whatsoever. So the thing about it is you can't just assume that that what people have gone through is trivial. You can't assume that. But success is a warm place to hide. You could be successful. You could have everything at your fingertips. You could have 5-6-figure income. You could have friends. You could have business success, entrepreneurship. You could be, the best investor. You could be the most incredible athlete. It does not matter. It has no bearing, no value if your success leads you to abuse and misuse the people that you're sworn to love and guard and care and provide for. Success we can hide in. We can go to work, we can do whatever, we can hide in our success. Also, we can be in success and whatever that looks like when it comes to people, and we can enjoy it, and we can have applause and accolades and get the support of all those people around us. But if we're not carrying the torch at home, so to speak, man, everything's for naught. And we can hide behind that success. People can look at us as successful and think, wow, that must be what his family life is like. That must be what he is like as a dad, or whatever the case may be. But that is not true. We can hide behind that without showing the real us. And we could be doing things behind the scenes that doesn't parallel with our success. And Terry, of course, is a product of that. I want to skip over here. I don't have a cam, but you could watch. Like I said, Terry is an actor, and he's got much success in his life. And you just heard this in the video, but he said, I literally wet the bed until I was 14 years old because I didn't know what was going to happen. This what you see here is a result of fear-driven, fear-mongering, fear-handling parenting, where we look to we use fear to induce respect, but in fact we lose it. We lose respect with our kids. And he even goes on to say, we lived a nightmare for years. I mean, think about that for a second. Living a nightmare for years. I hate nightmares. I used to wake up as a kid with these realistic nightmares that I wouldn't be able to think straight or act right for days. Can you imagine that was your true reality? A nightmare is exactly that. Something that is not, you don't want it to be true, but it is disturbing in your real life. Incredible. I want to look at something quickly over here. Let me see if I can grab it. Yeah, this website here is Hello Motherhood. Yes, Hello Motherhood. But it has a lot of good stuff in here. There's one thing that I really kind of really hit me when I read the article today, and it's the effects of angry fathers on children. A parent is bound to become angry now and again. I mean, it happens. Parents, we get angry. We get frustrated. We fly off the handle sometimes. But the article goes on to say, by Denise Stern, but situations that expose a child to constant anger from a parent, especially from a dad, may have serious repercussions for childhood development. So when there's an extreme amount of exposure to consistent anger from a dad or dad figure, it's seen as abuse, and it affects kids emotionally in all ways. What does fear do? What does fear, when a parent, or in this situation, a dad, who's leading supposedly by example, but he's projecting himself with fear to supposedly send a message of who's in charge. Small and middle-aged children constantly exposed to anger from a father may become increasingly fearful in the home environment. Check this out. Afraid of doing or saying something wrong and inviting a father's disapproval or anger. So see, that's what fear does. Fear drives a child to see their father as someone that will disapprove of them. That's powerful. Anxiety, constant fear over the reaction of a father or fearing his anger may lead a child, regardless of age or gender, to become overly anxious and worried. Anxiety may express itself in different ways, from poor grades in school to the inability to make friends. And here's Terry's case right here, right in front of us, to bedwetting or fear of the dark or even phobias. So that's the control that his dad in his anger had when he was instilling that anger up on Terry. And it caused him to fear so much, with so much anxiety. He had uncontrolled episodes of wetting the bed. Unbelievable. Older children may grow confused and depressed, which sometimes leads to suicide. Low self-esteem. A child constantly exposed to anger may feel he or she can't do anything right, seriously affecting self-confidence and self-esteem. I will tell you my own experience that is true for me. Low self-esteem, because I was constantly exposed at times to angry atmosphere, it caused me to withdraw, it caused me to have low self-esteem. Confidence was at an all-time low. Confusion about who I was, my identity, and it affected me to the greatest degree. And what I even seen, which I can testify with Terry, is the fact that when I first had children, the first 6-7 years, my anger was out of control because I didn't know where it came from. It was I guess it was culture in our home to a degree, and so I just seen it as normal. So I thought that's the normal way to communicate to kids. But I was totally wrong. I was so far removed from the real and true understanding of how anger is to be managed and funneled. Low self-esteem, anger. A child constantly exposed to anger by a father figure may very well become an angry individual. Wow. Are you angry? Are you resentful of any type of authority? These are clues. These are clues that you very well may have some anger issues, right? You end up seeing in kids behavior problems at school, both with friends and teachers, disturbing behavior. And look down here. I want to show you this. This is pretty incredible. Poor parenting. Parents who, through lack of knowledge or the stresses of life, struggle to implement consistent rules and consequences may create misbehaving children. So parents who have a lack of knowledge, and this is one thing that it's instilled in me now, and I've cultivated this, is you got to educate yourself. Got to be aware. You got to understand that you are a leadership figure in your home. So do some work, do some reading, read short, listen to podcasts, do whatever you need to do. Get your hands on good material. I could drop some those resources links in the comment section below for you to pursue later if you'd like. Struggle to implement consistent rules. Creates misbehaving children. According to Colorado State University, some of the parenting issues that create temper tantrums in children, and this is where they're saying that temper tantrums come from: inconsistent discipline, criticizing too much, and parents being overprotective and even neglectful. A child not having enough attention and love. So you see, the pendulum has to be swinging both ways. We can't totally ignore what it is that our job entails. We can't completely neglect. We can't overprotect. We can't helicopter parent. We can't do that. We have to have knowledge, and we have to have a consistent rules and consequences too. But I think it's the mode and form in which we do that carries the weight, and obviously the success of parenting, right? Here's another. We got 5 more minutes here. We'll finish up. But this is a great quote I came across. This is website is directadvicefordads.com. That's a really fantastic, if you want to log on to that one, you fathers out there. Anyway, go ahead and take another sip of your holy Kool-Aid. And this is what it says. It says this. So it's a matter of balance for parents, right? Of making sure the inevitable moments of understanding anger don't become excessive outbursts or irrational rage. See, the issue is that it's not that we're avoiding to be completely free of anger. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about excessive outburst and irrational rage. Yes, we're going to lose our cool once in a while. We own up for that. I said this before, and I'll say it again. The best thing we could offer our kids is an apology. And I like the advice that this website gives you. It says, why not inform and educate our kids of things that can and will make us angry. And right here you'll see, I'll highlight it so you can see it. As I recall well from my childhood, angering dad is something to be actively avoided. So informing a child, here it is, informing a child that a certain activity is likely to anger dad is a great way to persuade them to avoid that activity, right? If your kid, and this has happened to me, if your kid is outside and they're throwing, I don't know, having a game of catch and they're throwing a ball over the car, hard ball, well, the consequence is if the ball hits the windshield, it's going to break it. It's going to make you angry because you got to fork out money for that. So what you can do is, hey, listen, guys, can you move somewhere else? Because if you break the window, that very well may cause me to get upset. See, you've communicated. And you can reroute them. And that's just a short, small example. This quote is one that he mentioned in the article. His occasional flashes of anger still burn bright in my memory. So this is a dad reflecting on his dad. And there's a lesson in that. It's our moments of high emotion that will stick with our kids. Now, if you haven't followed me I'm on Facebook at Trent Antle, and I'm on Instagram as Fatherhood Confession. So you might want to give me a follow on those two platforms. I'm also on TikTok as Fatherhood Confession, so you can give me a follow. But I came across this quote on Instagram, and maybe I'll just hold it up for you to see. And it says this: every father should remember. Whoops, it's gone. It says, every father should remember one day his son will follow his example and not his advice. How great a quote is that? And I think that's something to keep in mind as dads too. That at some point, at some time on the timeline, as influential caretakers and guardians of our home and of our kids, at some point, our kids are going to leave home and they're going to recall what was most impactful to them. And so they're going to remember the very things we said, and they're going to begin to emulate that and install those actions and ways of thinking. And so I'm not perfect. Again, this is the whole point. I'm not perfect, but we're perfectly needed. And I've come to this realization, guys, that having foresight, I would encourage everybody out there, and I've just started doing this more regularly, is start to think about yourself as a dad. Start to think about you as a person. I start to think about things that may be said and may be done and how I'm going to react in advance. Like taking time to think it through. And we, you know what? We can't buy into this, I don't have time. No, we make time. Even if it's 5 minutes. Begin to curate in your own mind how you're going to react. How's my child going to process this action or these words I'm about to say to her? How's it going to impact her down the road? And you know what? If you don't get it right and you create an uproar, you could always apologize. You could always say you're sorry, because that's the best thing we'll ever offer our children, because we're not perfect, but we're perfectly needed. So I think it's very important to understand that that when we choose to act in anger and create fear-mongering children because we've acted or induced fear in them because of our anger or whatever the case may be, our kids will end up picking that up, just like Terry said. Terry said because of all the trauma that he went through, he ended up picking a lot of that up, and it damaged him, and that's because he had so much trauma. I mean, the guy was addicted to pornography. He had all kinds of other issues, which slips my mind right now. But that's what happens. And so Terry's story is a fantastic highlight for us to reminisce and think about, because I think when we hear another father, such as an icon like Terry, it just makes us believe that we're not invincible, right? We're impressionable, and we're creating that impression on our children. And so what we continue to do is we continue to be here for each other. If I could put a plug in again for my channel, and I'm going to do it again, go follow me on YouTube right here. As soon as you get off, go find that subscribe button, click it, like the video, like the videos, watch the other videos. Go for it. You'll enjoy it, and ring that bell so you're notified when I come out with a new video and I go live again. Okay, I appreciate every support. Those who have subscribed so far. I thank you for just saying yes and giving this old guy a chance. And we'll be continue to come at you with these segments every Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern. Feature Friday. We'll critically give a critical analysis, a careful analysis of a source, whether it's a video, an article, a book, whatever case may be, of someone's life, and pick it apart a little bit and try to make sense for our own lives. Guys, it has been a delight. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for chilling with me for a little bit. And I really appreciate you coming out. So, with that, I will tune out. This is Trent at Fatherhood Confessions. Have a great night. Peace. See you next time. Bye for now.